Against Manchester United, two most successful teams in FA Cup history. Arsenal won it 14 times, United 13, the current holders. I suppose a lot of talk, though, really away from matters. Dean, let's start with United, that morale-boosting draw, but a lot of conversation around Marcus Rashford, perhaps distracting from that. What do you think would be best for both parties? Do you think it's inevitable he leaves? Should he leave?
Yeah, I think so. I think for both parties, I think it would be the right move. I think he needs a new challenge, and maybe away from the pressures and the criticism that he's been getting. I think some of it rightly so, but also some of it at times over the top. And I think Manchester United, in the way that they want to move with the new manager and the style that he will bring, I think it would probably be best that he leaves, because I don't think he's going to fit exactly what Amorim wants. So certainly out of possession, I think he's after certain players that are going to work in a way that he wants, and Marcus hasn't shown enough of that anyway. To I think warrant staying at the club for what Amorim, and it's a telling sign that very quickly he's been kind of left out by the new manager. So you can only look at that and the things that he said, that he's not happy with the way he's trained, his attitude, and what he has been asking of him to have taken him out of the squad.
What do you think, Clinton? Is there a technical, tactical reason? Does he not fit into the 3-4-3? Where would he play if he were to excel?
Well, he can play in it. He can play in it. He can play in the 2-10s. But do I think he can't play as a wing back? As Dino said, Marcus Rashford, he doesn't like tracking back, and no strikers like tracking back, and he doesn't want to play as a number 9. So the only position where you can see him playing for Man United is a 2-10. You know, sometimes when you've been at a club long enough and we keep having these talks about Marcus Rashford, you need to go, have a fresh start, and I think it's best for both parties if he goes, has a fresh start, kickstarts his career. He's a talented individual. I feel like at the moment all we're talking about is not Marcus Rashford on the football pitch, Marcus Rashford, what he's doing off the football pitch.
Yeah.
Like, I think we should be focusing on what he's going to do on the pitch. So I think the time's right for him now to move, go and seek some regular first-team football, because for me, he's still a talent. I think he's got great ability, but he just needs to kickstart his career now.
Yeah, should be in his prime at 27, shouldn't he? We'll discuss more about that and where he might go in just a second. Not involved today, Marcus Rashford for Arsenal against Manchester United. Let's find out who is starting. We'll go live to the Emirates. Team news is in, and Jamie Weir. Jamie.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. The team news, as you said, is in. Let's start with Arsenal, and 3 changes Mikel Arteta makes from the side who disappointingly lost here 2-0 to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg midweek. Jorginho comes in for Thomas Partey, Mikel Merino comes in for Declan Rice, and Gabriel Jesus comes in for Leandro Trossard. So the Arsenal team in full, the back 4 and the keeper unchanged. David Raya in goal, a back 4 of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Miles Lewis-Skelly, who continues at left back. As I said, Jorginho and Merino come into the midfield alongside Martin Odegaard, and the front 3 will be Gabriel Martinelli, Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus. As for Manchester United, just the 2 changes that Ruben Amorim makes from the side, who were so impressive in that 2-2 draw against Liverpool at Anfield 7 days ago. One of those changes comes in goal with Altay Bayindir in for Andre Onana. We already knew he was going to make that change. The back 3 are unchanged. Martinez, Maguire and De Ligt. Dalot and Mazraoui continue as his wing-backs. Ugarte and Mainu continue in the midfield. And then the one other change he makes is to that forward line, because Alejandro Garnacho comes in for Amad Diallo. Bruno Fernandes continues on the left-hand side, and Rasmus Højlund leads the Lions. So just the 2 changes that the holders make for this third round tie, with Alejandro Garnacho and Altay Bayindir coming in for Diallo and Onana, respectively. It is a huge game. 20 years ago, this was the biggest game in English football. Both sides now with slightly different priorities, but we're looking forward to this one, a 3 o'clock kickoff here at the Emirates.
Should be a great game. Jamie, thank you very much for now. Both strong lineups then. 3 changes for Arsenal, 2 changes for Manchester United. Interesting, Amad Diallo dropping to the bench for Garnacho. Dean, getting back to Marcus Rashford, where do you think he should go?
I think he would have quite a decent pick of European sides that would be interested, because there'd be lots of sides that would look and think he's got unbelievable talent. We've seen it in streaks and in patches that he's capable of a seriously high level of a player. And sometimes I'm sure clubs will think, well, depending on the structure of payments, or if it's a loan or whatever it may be, that actually, if we bring him across, we can have that fresh start, get the best out of him, because you don't have the talents that he has and not able to produce at any level in any league in the world. He is that good. It's about him. It's so much about him, and I think it's gone really stale at Manchester United, considering he's come through at the football club, and I think it is just the right time for him to move. And it's not a bad thing. It shouldn't be seen as a bad thing. I think it should be a really good thing for him, actually.
But it's his attitude that's always in question. You know, he's at Man United. He's a Man United boy. He started there as a kid. If anyone should have the professionalism, it would be him. When a new manager comes in, you would like to see him be the first person on the training ground saying, listen, I've had a tough time at the moment, but you're the new manager and I want to prove myself for you being in there. He's gone to America. You know, he's in, I don't know, wherever it is, LA or New York, at a basketball match. That doesn't sound like professionalism. When he goes away on a Thursday night before a Saturday game, that doesn't say professionalism.
But Jay, he was allowed to do that, wasn't he? Is that?
He's not allowed to do that. No one's allowed to do that. You can't go out. I think everyone knows that. You can't go away on a Thursday before a Saturday game.
Okay.
Right? And everyone knows that in football. That's just an underwritten rule, right? And that's the problem I think he has. And that's why his stock is low. There's no doubt that he's talented. There's no doubt that he's got ability. But just recently, his body language, is he motivated? It just seems like since he's signed that huge contract, that his standards have dropped off. And I think that's what comes into question.
What about AC Milan? He's been linked with AC Milan. They're struggling a little bit. They've got a new manager in there. But when he looks at the players at the squad, is it one of those things where you back yourself, or do you think, hang on a minute, Rafael Leao's pretty good, maybe I'll struggle to get in here?
Yeah, again, even that, like, imagine if he goes there and then, you know, Rafael Leao decides to turn it on. And in my opinion, I think Rafael Leao's got more ability than him. I think he's a better player. When they're both on song, I would take Rafael Leao. But again, it could be a new stomping ground. I think Dean's right, as in he does need a new start somewhere else, but he has to go there with the right attitude. You can't go to another country and think, okay, I'm here, I'm playing for Man United, now you've got to, you know, bend to the way I play. You've got to go there and embrace a culture, and I think that's difficult. He doesn't speak Italian. That's going to be difficult. A lot of Italians don't really speak great English.
He's also a Mancunian leaving Manchester for the first time, I presume.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I just feel like wherever he goes now, he's on trial. He has to prove himself. He has to reinvent himself, because the stigma that he has is his attitude is not right. And I was that player as well when I was younger. People looked to me and said, your attitude isn't right. And that's because the stigma I created as a young player. Now he has to do the same thing and try and reinvent himself.
How do we know his attitude's not right, Clinton? Is it just what the managers have said?
You don't know. No one knows what Marcus Rashford's like. No one knows. I don't know him personally. I can only take what we're speaking about. So we don't know what his attitude is like. But what we do know is he's not performing on the pitch what we saw when he burst onto the scene. And that's why I say I don't... lots of people have stuff going on in their private life. That is totally up to them. I'm judging Marcus Rashford what I see on the pitch. He doesn't look happy when he's on the pitch. He doesn't happy when he's coming off. No one's happy when they're getting substituted off. He used to be probably one of the first picks when he first burst into Man United. Now you look at him and you're thinking, how is he not getting in that Man United team? He should be getting in that Man United team in any position.
He's had a few managers. Can they all be wrong? Are they all wrong?
That's what I mean. But I do rate him as a footballer, and I do think going to another country or going to another club will kickstart his career.
Dean, can he get was the 20-22-23 season a complete aberration when he got the 30 goals, or is that a level that he's capable of that he can get back to?
Of course he is. Yeah, he's still young enough, and you know, he burst through, had an incredible start to his career, and I mean, look, playing devil's advocate, say we all think just because you are a footballer and you get paid lots of money that you should care every single time you walk out. But ultimately, we are inherently selfish to make it anyway. And you stop thinking about those things. You do think about yourself. And he may be thinking, well, every time a new manager comes in, it's me. The spotlight's on me. I'm the scapegoat. And maybe starts to feel as if everyone's against him, and then that's affecting him. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just trying to think of why we would see the body language that he shows and the lack of showing his talents when we know there has to be a reason, and we get asked about it all the time, and it's hard to know exactly why, because we don't know what's going on in his own head. But that's how if I was to guess, it would be that he now just think, well, why am I always the scapegoat when a new manager comes in, or when it's poor and
He doesn't
everyone looks
help
at me.
himself though, does he, Dino? That's the thing.
No, he doesn't. But I'm trying to think of what it might be that's, and it's not because he just doesn't care. I think players go away from that when you're in your own bubble and you're thinking about yourself. You do sometimes forget about the sort of basic levels of effort that's required, because you do start to think about yourself a bit.
We'll keep across the Rashford situation then. We've heard Napoli, AC Milan, Borussia Dortmund, many clubs mentioned. We'll see how Rashford's future develops in the next few weeks in the window.